Cunnell was admired by everyone around him. At 32, he had just received a major promotion and was leading a groundbreaking engineering project. His friends toasted to his future, his family boasted about his success, and his neighbors respected his determination. One rainy night, while driving across Third Mainland Bridge, the heavy downpour blurred his view. Suddenly, the bright headlights of an oncoming truck blinded him. His car spun out of control, crashing against the railing. Glass shattered, metal bent, and his world went silent. When Cunnell woke up in the hospital, he tried to open his eyes, but saw nothing. The doctor leaned close and said gently, "Mr. Adeyemi, the accident severely damaged your eyes. I'm sorry, but you will not be able to see again." Cunnell froze, his lips trembling. His future, once so clear, had gone dark in one night. In the beginning, friends, family, and colleagues filled his hospital room with promises. They said, "Don't worry, we will always be here for you." But as the days turned to weeks and the weeks to months, everything changed. The calls stopped. The visits grew fewer. The same friends who once sought his advice now ignored him. Even some relatives whispered behind his back, convinced he would never achieve anything again. Cunnell felt their pity more than his blindness. He realized they loved his success, not him. Sitting alone one night, he whispered to himself, "They think blindness is the end of my life, but I will prove them wrong." Cunnell decided he would not give up. He purchased a talking laptop and taught himself to use screen readers. At first, it was frustrating, but with practice, he became skilled. Late at night, the sound of his keyboard echoed through his room. Neighbors often laughed, saying, "What can a blind man possibly achieve with a computer?" But Cunnell ignored them. He studied endlessly, memorized designs, and prepared blueprints in his head. Though he could not see, his mind was alive with vision. He chose resilience over despair. Cunnell's determination was strong, but reality was cruel. After the accident, he tried to return to his job, but his company let him go. They told him gently, "We can't keep you on the project anymore. It's too demanding for your condition." One by one, contracts he had been working on slipped away. Clients stopped calling. Colleagues who once admired him stopped answering his messages. His bank account drained faster than he could imagine. Within months, Cunnell sold his car, then his expensive furniture, and finally moved into a smaller apartment just to survive. The hardest part was the betrayal. The friends who used to toast with him every Friday now avoided him. When he tried to reach out, excuses piled up. "I'm busy, Cunnell. I'll call you later." But the calls never came. Loneliness wrapped around him like a heavy chain. There were nights he sat in darkness, clutching his cane, whispering to himself, "Is this what my life has become? From hope to nothing, from friends to silence." It was in this pit of despair that Cunnell realized something powerful. He had truly lost everything: wealth, friends, colleagues, and respect. Yet even with nothing left, he still had his will to fight. And it was in this emptiness that Ada would soon appear. One evening, after a long day of work, Cunnell stopped at a small roadside canteen to buy food. That was when he met Ada, a young tailor who also sold food in the evenings. She noticed him struggling with his cane and offered, "Let me help you find a seat." From that day, Ada became a quiet presence in his life. She visited him, cooked small meals, and sometimes gave him little amounts of money from her limited savings. Cunnell once asked, "Ada, why do you give when you have so little?" She smiled and replied, "Because kindness is more valuable than money, and I believe in you." Her words healed wounds that pity and mockery had left behind. Cunnell poured his energy into a bold construction design that he had been perfecting for years. Using his talking laptop, he refined the idea and submitted it to an international competition. Months later, he received an email. "Congratulations. Your design has been selected for global funding." His hands trembled as he read the message aloud. Suddenly, doors opened. Investors reached out. Companies wanted his expertise. His finances changed overnight. While others congratulated him for his success, Ada celebrated him for who he was. She clapped her hands and danced in his small living room, saying, "I knew your time would come." Cunnell smiled deeply. "Ada, You believed in me when no one else did. With his new wealth, Kunnel traveled to Germany for advanced surgery. Doctors warned him that success was not guaranteed, but he chose hope. The surgery was long, and for weeks his eyes stayed bandaged. He prayed each day, remembering the years he had lived in darkness. Finally, the day arrived. The doctor carefully removed the bandages. At first, there was blur, then light, then color. Kunnel gasped, tears streaming down his face. I can see again. The first thought that came to him was simple. I must see Ada. When Kunnel returned to Nigeria, he didn't go to a celebration or a business meeting. He went straight to Ada's small tailoring shop. She was busy at her sewing machine when he walked in without help. She looked up confused. Kunnel? You can see? She asked in shock. Kunnel smiled, eyes filled with tears. For the first time, he saw her face, gentle, kind, and beautiful. He knelt before her, holding a ring. Ada, when I was blind, you were my light. When I was weak, you were my strength. Will you marry me? Ada's hands trembled as tears fell. Yes, Kunnel. Yes. When Kunnel told his family, their joy turned to anger. That tailor girl, his mother exclaimed. Kunnel, you are successful now. You cannot marry beneath you. Think of your future. Relatives brought pictures of wealthy women from high-status families. They pleaded, they argued, and they even threatened to disown him if he went ahead. But Kunnel's heart was firm. When I had nothing, Ada was there. When I was blind, she guided me. I will not abandon her now. The pressure from Kunnel's family grew stronger every day. His mother begged him to reconsider. His uncles warned him that marrying Ada would bring shame. His cousins showed him pictures of wealthy young women and called them better options. But Kunnel's mind was made up. One evening, he called his family together. They sat in his living room, their faces stern, waiting to hear his decision. Kunnel stood before them and said calmly, I have listened to all of you, but I must speak the truth. He looked around the room, his eyes firm. When I lost my sight, my job, and my money, none of you stood with me. Friends left me. Even family turned away. But Ada stayed. She gave me food when I was hungry. She encouraged me when I felt hopeless. She believed in me when no one else did. His voice grew stronger. Now that my life has changed, I will not abandon her. Ada is my choice. She is the woman I will marry. The room fell silent. His mother gasped. Some uncles shook their heads, but Kunnel didn't waver. I respect you all, he finished, but this is my life, and I choose Ada. The silence was heavy, but Kunnel's decision was final. The wedding day finally came. It was not a big or flashy event. There were no luxury cars or grand halls. Instead, it was held in a small community hall, decorated with flowers and bright fabrics. Ada wore a simple white gown she had sewn herself. Kunnel wore a neat dark suit. They both looked radiant, not because of wealth, but because of the joy in their hearts. Some members of Kunnel's family were absent, still angry at his decision. But those who came could not deny the happiness on his face. Friends and neighbors danced, clapped, and sang loudly, celebrating the couple. At the altar, Kunnel held Ada's hands and whispered, When I was blind, you were my eyes. Now that I can see, I want to look at you forever. Ada's eyes filled with tears as she smiled and replied softly, And I will stand by you always. They exchanged rings, and the hall erupted in cheers. Laughter, music, and dancing filled the air. It was not the wedding his family had imagined, but it was a day filled with true love, loyalty, and joy. Kunnel and Ada walked out together as husband and wife, ready to face the future hand in hand. This story reminds us that true love is not measured by wealth, beauty, or status. Real love is proven in loyalty, sacrifice, and standing with someone when life turns dark. Kunnel's life showed that people will often celebrate you when you succeed, but the true test of love comes in your lowest moments. Ada gave him hope when he had none. She shared the little she had when the world abandoned him. That was the love worth building a life on. The world may admire your success, but never forget the hands that held you when you were weak. Those who stand with you in struggle are the ones who deserve to share in your victory. Kunnel chose love over pride, loyalty over wealth, and in that choice, he found true happiness. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.